to this week's edition of the Don't Argue. All thanks to Palmer Bet and the legend himself,
Matty.
Kirk Gidley. How are you, Gids?
Champion, mate. Nice little background, mate, there. And the comfort, mate, of the home, mate, the home studio. It's done. Finished.
It is kind of finishing touches, mate. This is the little the study area upstairs, mate. So we've still got a few
days.
pictures and a few little horse photos and whatnot to go on the wall. But yeah, it's good to be able to just kind of head upstairs, mate. The heater's on here; it's perfect condition. So, looking forward to it, mate. How are you going, buddy? Been a cracking weekend last weekend of NRL, wasn't it?
Yes, mate, it was. I mean, mate, Nathan Cleary continues to push on with his form. Only a couple of games back after being out for an extended period of time. So, Panthers, mate, will they threaten for the minor premiership? Melbourne Storm are still looking pretty good, to be honest. But can the Panthers push for, mate, that minor premiership? Probably won't be high on the priority list, but it's a nice one to claim. That's for sure.
Hey, question without notice, Gids. Is it Panthers, Storm? Are they the two sides? Is there anyone else that you think can win it, Gids?
Yeah, well, mate, I was having to listen to a bit of radio this week on the back of the weekend's games, and I still see Penrith as the out-and-out favourite. I mean, Melbourne easily have been the most consistent team again, and you look at the players they've had and they've lost over the years, and they just consistently do it like they've done for 20 years consistently. Like, the Panthers have been amazing, winning 3 grand finals back-to-back, and they're dead set in the front seat to go again for a fourth one. And the pathway of players they have throughout their grades looks phenomenal. The success they had right through their grades last year is a good indication that it's going to continue. So I still see Penrith as the best favourite to take it out again for 4 premierships in a row. But, I mean, Melbourne, it's an unbelievable effort what they're doing this year, and most consistent team, and have done it for long periods of time.
And mate, that probably kicks us into the ugly for this week. We're going to go reverse, I probably had the Broncos as that team that possibly were the other side that we're going to probably push on this year. But gee whiz, they've been very disappointing the last 6 or 7 weeks. Lost 7 of their last 8 games, Gids. We keep thinking that they're going to just turn the corner. They're now currently $3.10 at Palmer Bet to make the final 8. What are you thinking, mate? What do you reckon?
I think they're in all sorts, Matty. I think they're dead set in all sorts. For the roster they've got, they've slipped down the ladder extremely disappointingly. I mean, it doesn't look good for the Knights, because the Knights are the only team they beat in the last 7 weeks. So that's not a good indicator for the Newcastle Knights at this stage. But, for them to go down so poorly against the Bulldogs last weekend, I mean, the Bulldogs have been playing some pretty good footy. And we've spoken about how resilient their defence is, but the Broncos, it looks like they've lost all belief and confidence at the moment, and they're back to like 13th position. And that's a terrible place to be with the type of roster they've got.
And just no energy for mine, Gids. They were a scoring powerhouse, weren't they? Their offense was huge.
Yeah.
It was always going to be a question mark over their defense, but they just lack energy or something at the moment.
Well, mate, that's a real choice too. That'll be pretty disappointing to hear if you're Kevin Walters. That's for sure. Your team lacking effort and enthusiasm, and that's a huge warning sign. So, I've certainly been through those team meetings and periods where you lose, a string of games in a row. It's a pretty lonely place, and mate, when the team's lacking belief and confidence, it's a long path to get it back again. That's for sure. So, mate, I just had a look at the back end of the year. They've got the Titans this week. Titans had a great win there on the weekend. I thought they were pretty impressive, the Titans. And they've got Cowboys away. They do have a bye up their sleeve. That's one thing going from. They've got Para at home, Dolphins at Suncorp as well, and then their last game, Melbourne away. Melbourne at Suncorp as well. So there's a few tough ones amongst all them.
I know. I've just got a little soft spot for them, Gids. If they can get it together, but
what for?
It's got to. I know, mate.
Melbourne's your soft spot team.
I know, but something just draws me to the Broncos, the style of footy they play. But fair dinkum, they need to win this weekend. They need to have a convincing win for mine against the Titans. So, and I have had a little sneak preview at your bets this week, Gids. The Gids get on, and I don't think you think that the Broncos can win. So I'm going to be very interested to get your thoughts later on.
Yeah, well, man, I watched that Titans game. I think the Titans are playing with some real confidence and belief. I like their shape on the weekend. Kieran Foran still playing some good footy. Yeah, so I think the Titans are going to be right up for this one. It's a bit like the little brother versus the big brother. I think we've spoken about it before, and the Titans have got up for this one at Suncorp previously, so shaping up as a big one.
Right, let's get to the bad. The top 8 teams that slid last week: Sharks, Manly, Dolphins, all missed opportunities to solidify themselves in the top 8. Do you see all 3 teams featuring in the finals, Gids, or do you see a couple of these teams sliding out possibly?
Well, the Dolphins look the most likely to slide out. I mean, I would love to see them make the top 8. I think they deserve to be there with what they've achieved just in their second year of being in the NRL. So it'd be nice to see the Dolphins get there for the playing group and the fans, that's for sure. In the game, it's exciting to see a new team have this type of success, but the pressure's on them at the back end of the year here with 6 games to go. So whether they can get there or not, it's going to be a super tight finish to the year like we've seen last year, especially from that 5th, 6th position down to sort of 12th. I think it's going to come down to the last round, and it'll come down to for and against for those positions from 7th to sort of 10th, really, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Gids. I reckon I like the Dolphins, and I'm with you. I just reckon that the season they've had in their second year of the competition has been enormous, and I'm going to be a travesty if they didn't play finals this year, because their best is certainly good enough. So maybe my Matties must have a little bit later on might feature the Dolphins to bounce back this week. Hey, what about the good? You touched on it off the top, mate. Nathan Cleary, unbelievable. He put an absolute exhibition on last weekend. Could be the best player performance of the year, I reckon, Gids. 3 tries, 7 goals, 242 run meters, 2 try assists and 1 line break. He is an out-and-out star. For a bloke that's missed so much footy this year, he is just, is he number 1 in the comp in your eyes at the moment, Gids?
Well, yeah, I think he is, mate. I think he is. He's not as dynamic as some of the players like Reece Walsh or Kalen Ponga, but he's certainly the most consistent. And there's no reason why he's not. He puts the time and the effort on the training park. I'm sure he does it off the training field as well, with video sessions and analysing his own game and his competitors. So it's no surprise that he's the best, the most consistent player, and he's able to handle, the pressure when his team's behind. Look at last year's grand final as an example of that. So he deserves, all the money he's on, and the endorsements and sponsorships that he receives, because he's so disciplined. He's pretty humble too, mate. I like that about Nathan. He's pretty, he's pretty humble in all his performances, and he credits all his team and his coaching staff. So I think he's an all-round likable guy for all supporters of the game and opponents, I think. So, yeah, he's a class. And those type of run meters for a halfback, 241, you normally see those from fullbacks and outside backs.
Yeah, he's a freak, absolute freak show, and he's going to be an important cog in the quest for 4 in a row for the Panthers. Let's get to our tips for last week, Gids. You got me again, 5 out of 8, mate. 4 out of 8 for mine. Fair dinkum.
Mate, you got to take some gambles. You're going to have to take some gambles here, surely.
I might start tonight, mate. I've got a massive, massive in, mate. I think I'm shot, to be honest. But yeah, 5 out of 8, that's a pass mark. 4 out of 8, not pass mark for mine. Your Gids get on last week, mate. Roosters v Manly. Dom Young, Daniel Tupou, Suwali, and Turbo, anytime try scorer. So 2 out of the 4 saluted. So you weren't too far away, mate.
Yeah, 2 out of 4.
Turbo got close a couple of times too. So you were around the mark, Gids.
Yeah. I mean, they're all dynamic players, that's for sure, and got plenty of skill and speed. So, yeah, 2 out of 4. Look, I'm not that happy with that, to be honest. I need to nail one.
Fire up, mate.
But, mate, the back end of the year, this next 6 games,
this is when you excel,
this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it.
Last year, from memory, I reckon the back 6 or 8 weeks, I think you snagged about 4 or 5 of these.
Performed, yeah.
So, big game player. We expect nothing less this year. My Matties must have last week. Dolphins 13 plus. Fair dinkum and the hammer to score 2 plus. Did not even look like it, to be honest, Gids. So back to the drawing board, mate.
Back to the drawing board, mate. They were pretty good in the first half, the Dolphins, but yeah, they started to crumble in the second half, and the momentum and the work that the Titans were doing was pretty impressive, and got them in the end.
Hey, mate, let's go to put a line through them. You put a line through the Rabbitohs, Parramatta, and the West Tigers. You've taken the soft option so far, Gids. What do you got for us? Soft option, mate. What do you got for us this week, buddy?
Well, mate, the Titans are the long shots. You know, they're what, $81 to make the top 8 at this stage. But I like their performance last week. Yep. Same points as the Broncos, correct? Mate, Lions going through the Broncos.
Wow.
Gone.
Really?
Gone.
Yep. Not going to give him one more week.
Not giving him a week. Broncos for me. The red pen's out.
And you're keeping your Newcastle.
I think they're in trouble. Big trouble. Well, don't worry. There's a few teams here the Knights are on 22. They're 1 point above the Warriors at the moment. And then there's 1, 2, 3 teams on 24 points, which just gets you into the 8 at that stage. So the Knights have got a huge task this week against the Panthers. There might be a bit of strife next week, but at this week, just one to strike through. The Brisbane Broncos.
Last year's grand finalists nearly won the premiership last year, and they're going to be Gonski for 2024, according to our man.
Well, mate, it was a similar pattern, Matty, to 2023, I believe. You know, the Broncos got off to a flying start. Everyone was talking to them about one of the form teams of the competition, and they just capitulated at the back end of 2023. And we're seeing a similar pattern to that year. Well, was it 2022?
2022, mate. Last year was 2022.
Good. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, 2022. They ended up making the grand final last year, of course. But yeah, it was 2022. They got off to a great start halfway through the year, and then they just plummeted at the back end.
Righto, Gids. No one else you want to put a line through, mate? You're happy to put the red marker away for another week?
That's it for this week.
Tuck it into that Palmer jumper of yours, mate.
Straight down the top here. It stays there all week till mid next week.
Hey, listen, let's have a look at this week's random matches. Thursday night footy, she's back on. Tigers, Cowboys, Leichhardt Oval. The West Tigers, $3.43. The Cowboys, who have hit a bit of form the last couple of weeks, $1.32. The line here is -10.5. Total points over under is 50.5 points. Stats and bets, the Palmer bet team like the Tigers have lost 20 of their last 21 games. Cowboys to win are at $1.32. Each of the last 5 games between the Tigers and the Cowboys have gone over the total points. So total points over 50.5, $1.90. And 5 of the last 8 Tigers games have had 11 plus tries. So total try bands, 11 plus tries is $2.75. If you 3-leg multi that up, Gids, $3.50. What do you reckon, mate? I must admit, Gids, I reckon we have not given the Cowboys probably enough credit, in particular over the last couple of weeks.
No, not over the last couple of weeks, but probably because, mate, they had a fair period of being heavily under pressure.
Yeah,
heavily under pressure. So they've done pretty decently through the Origin period, and they're up to 6th position. They're 2 points out of the top 4 at the moment. So a win here starts to put a bit of pressure and obviously builds some real confidence and belief around securing a top 4 spot. So they've turned it around amazingly through this mid-year period. So, definitely on the Cowboys this week. I think they'll win 13 plus.
And I just reckon they've got a little bit of X factor, haven't they? Drinkwater and Did and a few of those players, they've got a little bit of magic about them. They got something special about them, haven't they?
Well, I think mate Did continues to grow and grow, and normally it's on the back of those Origin camps. Like he's been in the last 2, and he's played a number of games out of the last 2 Origin series. You know, you come out of Origin a different player, whole lot of confidence. Obviously, being around the best players in the game, under the best coaching staff, and you know, he goes back to his club footy, a different player, and that's great to see. That's the development of being an Origin player. So he's a real important cog to the Cowboys' success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drinkwater brings some X factor. Drinkwater brings some X factor. And he's got speed. He's got great ball skills. So he does bring some X factor. His defence is still, I think, a little bit questionable, and he's got to put his body on the line. But he brings that X factor which you need. You need some flair in your team, and he's got that.
I reckon Cowboys 13 plus Gids. I reckon they're up and about a bit at the moment. So I reckon they're going to have a big win. Hey, Warriors v the Eels Friday night 6 p.m. at Go Media Stadium. Big game here for the Warriors. Head-to-head, $1.23. Eels at $4.20. The line here is -12.5. Total points over under is 48.5 points. Stats and bets, the boys at Palmer bet like each of the last 5 games between the Eels and the Warriors have gone over the total points. So total points over here is 48.5, $1.90. Roger Tavazashek has scored 8 tries in 11 games against the Eels. For him to do that again or score a try, he's $1.57. And the last 3 Warriors wins have been by 13 plus. So the Warriors to win 13 plus is currently $1.81. If you multi those 3 up, you get $4.20, all thanks to Palmer Bet Gids. Warriors, and do you reckon Warriors comfortably?
Yeah, I think so. Geez, the Eels have been poor. There's been no reaction, mate, to Jason Rolls being announced as head coach for next year. No reaction whatsoever from the playing group.
And you were big on this, weren't you? You were big on this. I was big on it.
I thought, well, you're on show, you're on trial. If you're there, whether you've got a contract or you're off contract next year or for the next 2 years, then you've still got a responsibility to represent your playing group, your fans, and obviously the new incoming coach. But there hasn't been a reaction to that, which is surprising. So yeah, they've been a huge disappointment if you're a Para fan. There's no doubt about that. 16th position they're sitting at the moment. They're 2 points above the West Tigers. So they're still under pressure as far as they're no chance of making the 8. But you certainly don't want to be winning wooden spoon. Like what is it? It's 2 years out of the grand final. Yeah, we're seeing the Broncos slip steeply down the ladder as well. They're 12 months out of the grand final. So yeah, hard one to back it up the following year. But I think both clubs will be pretty disappointed in how they've performed on the back of a grand final.
So Warriors to win here, Gids, and to do it comfortably again.
Yeah. The Warriors have been a hard one to back as well, haven't they?
Especially at home.
I think it was, mate, last week they were sold out again. I think it had sold out a number of days before actually kickoff. And
amazing.
So they've still got great momentum. I actually think the Warriors have taken over the game of rugby over there in New Zealand, which is great for the game of rugby league, but they still have some inconsistencies in their performances. But yeah, I think, mate, definitely 1-12 for me.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to get the job done. And that 13 plus stat, their last 3 wins have been by 13 plus points. That's good enough for mine. So I reckon they'll do that again. Hey, Dolphins v Roosters, Friday, 8 p.m. This is at HBF Park in Perth, kids. So it's a little road trip here. Head-to-head, Dolphins 3.54. Roosters are at $1.30. The line here is -9.5. Total points over under is 50.5 points. Stats and bets we like. 5 of the last 7 Dolphins games have gone over the total points. So total points here is 50.5, $1.88. Roosters have scored 30 plus points in 3 of their last 4 games. So Roosters total point band 31 or more points is $1.97. And Dom Young has scored 6 tries his last 5 games. So anytime try scorer, he's $1.38. He's a star of the competition, Dom Young. If you multi those 3 up, $3.10. It's a short way home, but it could be sweet. Gids, I'm all over the Dolphins here. I am. I reckon it's a ridiculous price. And they've got quality. It's going to be a fast deck over there at Optus Stadium. It's a really hard, firm deck. And I actually reckon that is going to play into the hands of the Dolphins.
Speed. Yeah, man, I think the Knights played the Dolphins over in Perth there maybe a couple of years ago. But yeah, good point around the deck, fast deck. It's going to potentially favour the Dolphins and the Hammer at the back there. Good matchup between the Hammer and Tedesco as fullbacks. But yeah, I just look at the Roosters team: Suoliti, Joseph Manu in the centres, Dom Young. Then the halves is a good competitive battle: Luke Keary, Cody Nikorima, and Sam Walker and Isaiah Katoa. So, but then their forward pack, the Roosters, it's a good matchup again. I think this is the game of the round for me, mate. Spencer Linyu, Jesse Bromwich, Tavita Pengai Jr. He's been back into the NRL fold and he's been pretty fiery with some of his aggression on the field, which he's known for. Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton, and Connor Watson there at lock. I think this is a game of the round for me. I think it's going to be a tight one. I've got the Roosters in a close one, 1-12.
I'm going the Dolphins, mate. Yeah,
well, you do need a couple of upsets, mate, to try and edge your way back against.
I need about 20.
The head-to-head battles.
We're not even going to go there, mate. Let's move along to the next game. Titans v the Broncos. This is season defining for both teams, really. If Titans want to play finals, they're going to win. Broncos, same thing. Saturday, 3 p.m, Seabus Super Stadium. Head-to-head, Titans at $2.44. Broncos at $1.56. The line here is -5.5. Total points over under is 52.5. Stats and bets we like. The last 5 Broncos day games have gone over the total points. So total points here is over 52.5, $1.90. Titans winger Khan Pereira has scored 2 doubles in his last 3 games. He was sensational last week. So for him to score 2+ tries, again, he's $1.53. And the Broncos, 5'8", Ezra Mam has scored 4 tries in his last 5 games against the Titans. So Ezra Mam, anytime try score is $2.12. Bets, we like 3-leg multi, $5.25. Gids on Broncos, and I think I know where you're going here. You're half keen on the Titans here for a little mini upset.
Yes, I am. And it was on the back of their resilience and some of their shape that I watched there last week when the Titans beat the Dolphins. So there's no doubt the Broncos have got a far superior team and speed and experience, and it's an impressive lineup. I mean, Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan, the forwards, but yeah, I think the Titans will be right up for this one. And again, I think they come in as the underdog, as the little brother, and I think there's an opportunity for them to ambush the Broncos in this match. So I'm taking this one for an upset. It's at Seabus Stadium. I think it'll be a really good crowd on the back of their win last week, and I'm going with the Titans for an upset.
Bronx to fire up here, mate. They got everything at stake, and they need to show some energy and some pizzazz,
they do.
Kids. So
pizzazz, that's right. Wonder if Kevy uses that in his team talk this week.
Come on, boys, we want to see some pizzazz.
Guys, we need a bit of pizzazz. Hey, might be required.
Hey, Storm Dragons, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. at Amy Park. The old Dragons disappointing last week for our man Kyle too. He was shattered with the efforts last week. Head-to-head, Storm $1.12. Dragons at $6.25. The line here is huge, -18.5. Total points over under is 50.5 points. Stats and bets we like. The last 7 matches between the Dragons and the Storm have gone over the total points. So total points over 50.5 is $1.90. Jerome Hughes has scored a try in all 6 games he has played against the Dragons. So anytime try score at $2.65. So that is a nice little way to go. And if you multi those 2 up, you're going to get about $6. So, Gids, correct me if I'm wrong. Earlier on in the year, did the Dragons take it up or did they beat the Storm?
Don't know.
I'm going to go to the stats.
Top of my head.
Well,
go to the stats. Look, can't go past the Storm in this one. No way whatsoever. They're 4 points clear at the top of the table ahead of the most consistent team in the reigning 3 premiers, the Panthers, over the last few years. So they're up there for a reason. They're on 36 points, and their for and against is huge. So they're top of the ladder for a reason, and favourites probably to be minor premiers. So definitely Storm at home, mate. I think they'll win really convincingly again.
Last time they played, Gids, was round 25 last year. And the Storm won by 10 points, 28-38. So it was a high-scoring affair.
Mate, Dragons have made some big improvements, I think, this year. There's no doubt about that under Flano. But yeah, I can't go past the Storm. They're tough and resilient. It's a great culture. It's a great environment. All players that come in, whether they come through the grades into the Melbourne system or they come from outside of recruited, they can be mediocre, they can be superstars, but they buy into the culture that Craig Bellamy has set up and instills, and they're a beast that just continues to tick along.
And Munster's going to be better for the run, Gids, as well, I reckon. So they're only going to keep improving from here on. If they all stay injury-free, they're going to have a real crack at it again this year. Sure. That is for sure. Storm to win for mine, Gids. Sharks, Rabbitohs, Sunday, 2 p.m. at Shark Park. Head-to-head, the Sharks, $1.28. Rabbitohs at $3.70. The line here is -10.5. Total points over under is 48.5 points. 5 of the last 6 games at Shark Park have gone over the total points. So 48.5 is that mark at $1.88. Souths have covered the line in each of its last 4 games in Sydney. So Souths at +10.5 is $1.88. And Sharks winger Sione Katoa has scored 7 tries in 6 games. So anytime try score $1.44. 3-leg multi, that one, $5.75, Kids.
Yeah, mate, I think when Latrell come back, I think it was from suspension at one stage there, he definitely shifted, I guess, the internal perception for the Sydney Rabbitohs, and they were playing impressively. Like Latrell was on fire again. He was He was big, he was aggressive, he was athletic, he brought a lot of confidence to the team. I did like the move when Jack White moved to 5'8" with Cody Walker, but I still think the Sharks are a top 4 team, mate, this year. I think I called that at the start of the year. And Sharkies at home. I think it's still going to be a tight one. I do like Jai Gray at fullback there with Latrell being out. He's got some genuine speed. So I'm going to go Sharks, mate, 1-12.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I reckon it'll be a close game. And if Latrell was playing, I'd nearly be tipping the Rabbitohs here, to be honest.
I think so. I'm with you.
But
I think Benny Holmes done a great job there.
Yep.
Assistant coach. Yep. He's now head coach for this year until Wayne Bennett comes in, and he's done a really good job, Benny Hornby.
Yeah, he should be happy, I reckon, because their last 8 weeks have been really solid. Sharks for mine. Panthers v your Newcastle Knights, Gids. Sunday, 2 p.m. at Panthers Stadium. Head-to-head, Panthers $1.14.
That's where we want to be.
Knights at $5.80, Gids. The line here is minus 14.5. Total points over under is 48.5 points. Stats and bets. The Palmer Bet team like Knights have not won at Panthers Stadium since 2018. Gee whiz. It's nearly when you were still playing, Gids. Panthers 13 plus $1.58. Panthers' last 2 games have hit the over since Nathan Cleary has returned. Okay, so total points over 47.5 is currently at $1.88. And Brian To'o has scored 6 tries in 6 games against the Knights. Yeah. So anytime try scorer, $1.49. Yeah, multi them up, that 3-leg multi, and it gets you $3.50, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Gids, come on, mate. Are we tipping against the Knights?
I'm shaking in my boots just with Brian To'o there. Like he's a beast, Brian To'o. His carries are phenomenal. He finishes off tries unbelievably. He's a weapon. I loved him in Origin, and he's just one player in the Panthers team that is a real danger and is such a reliable player coming out of yardage. So I noticed, mate, the Knights have made a change to their halves again. They're obviously not happy with either how they're defending. They've got Phoenix Crosland starting as halfback and Jack Cogger on the bench, which is an interesting move by Adam O'Brien. I think they've gone with a more defensive plan, having Phoenix there defending at 3-man, and then I think he'll move into hooker, and they'll probably bring Jack Cogger on. But it's a reshuffle again. Anytime you see reshuffles in teams, mate, it just creates a bit of uncertainty, or the players who are currently were in those positions aren't there for a reason. So, I mean, as loyal and as passionate as I am for the Newcastle Knights, mate, how can you tip against the Panthers the way they've been travelling? Certainly over the last couple of weeks, with Nathan Cleary being back. Yeah, what are they? They're $1. What are they paying? $1.13 or something to win. Knights are $6.
This is mate. This is like nearly drum roll. I've got a little bar fridge. I've got a bar fridge.
What's the start
here, mate? I've got a bar fridge. I'm going to drink.
What have we got? What's the line? 14.5.
Mate.
14.5.
Fair dinkum. I don't even think you take it with the line, mate. Have a look. I'm drinking. I got my little fridge here, mate. I've even got a little blocker.
Yeah, look, I've got to be honest. I've got to be
chocolate there too, mate.
I've got to be honest. I've got to be true. It's a Panthers head-to-head for this one.
Mate, I can't believe this is the first time in 3 years, Gids, that you have not tipped the Newcastle Knights. You must love the Panthers.
I hope they prove me wrong. That's for sure.
Hey, you can't, mate. Panthers are a good side. And
Panthers at home. I reckon you could count on one hand how many games the Panthers have lost at home over the last 4 years. And
normally you use that word ambush, little ambush down there, but that's not even coming into play as well, mate.
Yes.
You're not going to get the job done, mate. I'm sorry, and that will be season over, I reckon, for the Newcastle Knights, Gids, unfortunately. He's not happy with that call, I think, the big fella. He's kind of half frozen there, isn't he?
No, what happened? Lost connection. We're back.
I reckon it was like you kicked the cat there, mate. You wanted the internet off because you didn't want to hear that. Hey, Bulldogs Raiders final game Sunday 4:05 at Belmont Park Sports Ground. Bulldogs $1.39. They are going really well. Raiders at $3 here. The line's at -8.5. Total points over under is 47.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Raiders have won 8 of their past 9 games against the Bulldogs. That is an amazing stat. So Raiders at the line, plus 8.5, $1.82. Raiders, last 4 games have gone under the total points. 6 of the Bulldogs' last 7 games have gone under. So total points under 47.5 is $1.99. And Bulldogs centre Bronson Xerri has scored a try in 3 straight games. So anytime try scorer at $2.25. If you multi them up, $10.75. So there's some real good value there. I reckon the Bulldogs, Gids, another side we're probably not giving enough kudos to because they are in really good nick.
Yeah, they're in really good nick, Matty, and they're playing with obviously a stack of belief, mate, and playing some good form. I think we've spoken about their defensive record and how much it's improved since last season. Cameron Sorrello's done a great job there with the Bulldogs, and mate, now they sit 2 points outside of the top 4. It's a remarkable turnaround in 12 months' time, that's for sure. I mean, Cameron Sorrello could be in the running for Coach of the Year with this type of season on the back of the last one. So they're right up for it. There's no doubt about that. I think they won without Stephen Crichton there last week, which was another big win. He seems like an amazing leader by the sounds of things in that team, and so huge game. I'm definitely on the Bulldogs for this one. I actually think they'll win convincingly at home. At home. Bulldogs 13 plus, mate. To wrap up the round.
The only thing, Gids, is the Raiders 8 of their last 9 against the Bulldogs. That is a pretty amazing stat.
Yeah, it is, mate. But look at how many rough years the Bulldogs have had. 8 of the past 9. What is it? 4 seasons? Roughly 4 seasons. I think, times have changed. The Bulldogs have changed, mate. They've changed their game. They've changed their defensive structure. They're all buying into that. They're working really hard now. So I wouldn't read too much into the past. They're pretty rough years, those, for the Bulldogs.
I'm actually going the Raiders, Gids, on the back of that. I've changed my mind. I need to make up some ground.
Holy.
So I've changed my little tip and I've just keyed it into the Palmer Bet app. It's really simple, if that's what you want to do. So my pick 8, I'm going to start tonight. Cowboys, Warriors, Dolphins, Broncos, Storm, Sharks, Panthers, Raiders. 45.94, Gids. That's with a couple of real good, decent roughies in there.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a few different to me.
Righto. What are you going, buddy?
Righto, mate. I am Cowboys, Warriors, Roosters, Titans as an upset.
I'm going to put this in.
Put it in.
Roosters, yep. Titans is the upset.
Titans, yep. Storm, Sharkies.
Yep.
The Panthers just against the Knights.
Oh, just.
And the Bulldogs, mate.
11.41, Gids.
Yeah, pretty safe. Pretty safe. Bet. Titans is the upset, but pretty safe with the rest of them.
And I'm not going to blow the whistle on what you put up in our group chat when I said you're tipping against the Knights for the very first time. I'm not even going to go there, Gids.
Don't go there.
I'm not going to go there. I'll save that for a later show, I reckon. What about the Gids get on? What do you like this week, mate?
Mate, the Gids get on. I'm actually going to go with that Titans upset. I'm going to go Titans 1-12 against the Broncos. I think it'll be a tight one if they do get up. And I looked closely at David Fafita's game there last week, and I think there was a carry late in the game off the kickoff. They actually shifted back to the short side, and he looked damaging. Looked like the David Fafita that everyone fears, when he's on the team sheet. So I think if the Titans win, David Fafita has a big one. That little 2-leg multi is about $7.80, just under.
Love it. Absolutely love it, Gids. Well, I'm going the Dolphins to cause a little mini upset at Optus Stadium, the fast track for mine, and Herbie Farnsworth and the Hammer, anytime try scorers. And that will be right here.
Yeah, that'll be solid. That'll be solid. Upset the Roosters and 2 tries for those guys. Yeah, that'll be juicy.
I reckon
Good
it might be
luck,
about
mate, with that one.
17 or $18, I reckon, kids.
Yeah.
Hey, download the Palmer Bet app. Gamble responsibly. That is always the key messaging, but it's a really easy app to get around. And don't forget the Punters Club too. We're going to fire that up ourselves, kids, and have a little bit of fun with a bit of NRL, AFL. That'll be a whole lot of fun too between us. Gids, going to be a cracking weekend, mate, or cracking round of NRL. The next few weeks really going to tell the story. Plenty of sides vying for that top 8 at the moment, and it has been such a sensational season thus far.
Yeah, Matty, the pressure's going to build, mate, over the next few weeks. Teams under pressure to make the top 8. Teams in the top 8 to hold their position there. So it's going to be the pressure's on, mate. The heat's on. Origin's behind us, and everyone wants to be in the top 8 and as far up the top 8 as they possibly can. Even those top 4 positions are still, that 3rd and 4th position still right up for grabs at the moment. So exciting back into the year, mate.
Oh, I love it, mate. And I can't wait for the next home games at the Newcastle Knights because you've tipped against them for the very first time. I reckon you get a cop and firm to stick about it too. Hey, kids, you have a great week, mate. We'll talk next week, buddy.
Matty, thanks very much, mate. All the best, everyone. Have a good one.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.